Hello friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel. As part of today's video, I'm going to discuss about Swagger API. This is very important when we are working with Spring Boot and microservices. Before going to Swagger API, first we need to know what is a distributed applications, what is provider application, what is consumer application and all those things. First, let me talk about what is distributed application. Let me talk about what is distributed application. Distributed application. Right. So now observe it here. Here I have application 1 and application 2. Two applications are available. Two applications are available. This application 1 is developed by using Java technology. This is Java application. This is Java application. And this one is .NET application. .NET application. Java application and .NET application. This Java application will work as a provider application, and this .NET application will work as a consumer application. Consumer application, provider application and consumer application. Now Java application will provide the services to consumer application. This .NET application is going to consume the services which are providing by Java application. Here, irrespective of technologies, one application is developed by using Java, another application is developed by using .NET. Irrespective of technologies, irrespective of platforms, one application can communicate with another application. Irrespective of programming languages, irrespective of platforms, one application can communicate with another application. Is nothing but what? Interoperability. Interoperability means what? Irrespective of technologies and irrespective of platforms, one application can communicate with any other application is called as interoperability. Now here my .NET application is communicating with the Java application to consume the services. Java application will communicate with .NET application to provide the services. If one application is communicating with another application, if one application is communicating with another application is called as distributed application. What is a distributed application? If one application is communicating with another application is called as distributed application. Right. So now if you want to develop these distributed applications, what we required, how we will develop these distributed applications, right? We can develop distributed applications. We can develop distributed applications by using web services. By using web services, we can develop the distributed applications. How many types of web services we have? Two types. One is SOAP based web services. SOAP based web services. Second one is RESTful services. RESTful services. We have two types of web services. By using these web services, we can develop distributed applications. Right. So now observe it here. I have I have application 1 is available and application 2 is available. Application 1 and application 2. Assume this is application 1. Application 1 and this is application 2. Application 2. Now inside this application 2, we have some methods are available inside application 2. Some methods are available at here. Methods are available. Now this application 1 wants to access the methods which are available in application 2. Now this application 1 wants to access the methods which are available in application 2. See these methods. Application 1 wants to access the methods which are available in application 2. Is it possible or not? Application 1 can able to access these methods or not? No, it can't able to access. If application 1 wants to access the methods which are available in application 2, compulsory this application 1 should know the details of this application 2, then only it can able to access. If application 1 wants to access the methods which are available in application 2, compulsory this application 1 should know the details of application 2, then only it can able to access. What details are required? What is the name of the application? What classes are available inside the application? What methods are available? What is the name of those methods? And what is the request type? And what is the response type? Right. So these informations, these details are required. Then only this application 1 can able to access application 2. Without knowing these details, application 1 can't able to access this application 2. Is it clear? Here, if application 1 wants to access the methods which are available in application 2, before accessing, compulsory this application 1 should know the details of application 2, then only it can able to access. What details are required? What is the name of the application? And what is the names of the classes? And inside the classes what methods are available, and what is the request type, and what is the response type? All these details are required. Then only this application 1 can able to access application 2. Right, now we are going to discuss how this application 1 will get the details of application 2. Now we are going to discuss how application 1 will get the details of application 2. Right, first let me talk about SOAP based web services. Here, if you go with SOAP based services, SOAP based web services, SOAP based web services. Right, here I have application 2 and application 1. This is application 2 and this is application 1. Right, so this is application 1 and application 2. Observe carefully. Application 1 and application 2. Right, so now this application 1 is provider. Application 1 is provider, and application 2 is consumer. Application 2 is consumer. Right, so now here observe very carefully. In this case, application 1 is the provider and application 2 is the consumer. Right, application 1 is service provider and application 2 is service consumer. Right, if application 2 knows the details of application 1, right, if this application 2 wants to access this application 1, and right, if this application 2 wants to access this application 1, compulsory application 2 should know the details of the application 1. Right, if application 2 knows the details of application 1, then only this application 2 can communicate with this application 1. If this application 2 knows the details of this application 1, then only this application 2 can access this application 1. Now tell me, how this application one, how this application one will provide the services to application 2, and how this application one will provide the services to application 2, how this application one will provide the services to application 2, and here, right, very very important, by using through this Visidal file, and we have one file which is Visidal, we have one file which is Visidal, and through Visidal file, this application 1 will provide the details to application 2. Visidal means what? Web services description language. Visidal means web services description language. By using this Visidal, application 1 will provide the details to this application 2. Once application 2 got the details of application 1, then application 2 can send the request to application 1. See, observe carefully. Application 1 will provide the services through this Visidal file. Through this Visidal file. So now what application 2 will do? Application 2 will get those details. Application 2 will get those details. And it can able to send the request to application 1, and it can able to send the request to application 1. See here, without knowing the details of application 1, application 2 can't able to send any request to application 2. Before sending the request, compulsory application 2 should know the details of application 1. Right, try to understand once again. Right, here my application 2 wants to access application 1. Right, if application 2 wants to access this application 1, compulsory application 2 should know the details of the application. Right, how application 1 will provide the details? Application 1 will provide the details through this Visidal file. Visidal means what? Web services description language. Right, once application 1 provide the details, this application 2 will get those details, and it can able to send the request to application 1. Application 1 will process that request, and it will provide the response to application 2. Right, here the main important point is how application 1 is providing the details to application 2. Right, application 1 is providing the details through Visidal file. Visidal means web services description language. In SOAP-based services, to provide the details of application 1 to application 2, it is using this Visidal file. Right. So if you go with the RESTful services, for SOAP-based services, okay. Now, if you go with this RESTful services, right, if you go with this RESTful services, how it will provide the survey, how it will provide the details. In RESTful services, how it will provide the details, we have to know. Right, here we have two parties. Here also we have two parties, and one is REST API. One is REST API. REST API. Second one is REST client. Second one is REST client, and REST client also available at here. Here we have two parties. One is REST API and second one is REST client. Second one is REST client at here. Right. So this REST API, what this REST API will do? It will provide the services. What REST client will do? It will access the services, and it will access the services, and REST API will provide the services. REST client will access those services. Right, now my question is how REST client, right, how this REST client will be developed, how this REST client can be developed at here. Right, if you know the details of REST API, then only we can develop this REST client. before starting the development of this REST client, compulsory you should know the details of this REST API. Then only you can able to start the development of REST client. Right? How we can develop the REST client, and if you know the details of REST API, then we can start the development of REST client. Right? How you will get REST API details, and right now I want to start the development of REST client. Before that, compulsory I should get the details of REST API. How you will get those details? How you will get those details? Here, this developer, and who developed this REST API, who developed this REST API, that developer should provide the details about this REST API by using Swagger. Right? Who developed this REST API, that person should provide the details of this REST API by using Swagger, and here Swagger will come into the picture. Right? Now clear why we are going to use Swagger. Right? If this REST API wants to provide the details to REST client, right, how it will provide? By using Swagger it will provide, and by using Swagger it will provide. And in interview room, if they ask what is a Swagger, means what answer you guys will give? Right? So here Swagger, what Swagger will do, and Swagger, by using Swagger we can generate documentation for REST API. By using Swagger we can generate the documentation for this REST API, and right, once you got that document, the details, then you can start the development of REST client. If you want to start the REST client development, compulsory you should get the details of this REST API. Right? How you will get those details? The developer who developed this REST API, that person will provide the documentation about this REST API through Swagger, by using Swagger. Clear? Right? Here only we are going to use Swagger also. Here only we are using Swagger also at here. Right? By using Swagger, REST API will provide that Swagger also will exist in that REST API application only. And Swagger also will exist inside this REST API application only. That's why I put this Swagger inside this application. By using this Swagger, right, developer can provide the details of this REST API. And clear? Before starting client development, compulsory you should get the details of the REST API, then only you can develop the client entity. Right? How REST API will provide those details? Using Swagger. Using Swagger it will provide the details. Clear? Right. So now here I will develop one application and I will show it. I will develop and I will show it. See, observe very carefully at here. Observe it here. I'm going to STS. Let me create one application. Go to new, and here Spring Starter project. Spring Starter project I am taking. Right here I will take application name Swagger API, Swagger application I'm taking. Right? Swagger application I'm taking it here. Right? So now click on next. Here what dependencies we need to add inside pom.xml? Starter web is required. Spring web, starter web is required at here. This Spring web is required. Next I am going to add DevTools also. I'm going to take DevTools, Spring Boot DevTools, and I'm going to add Lombok for creating getters and setters. I'm going to add Lombok also for creating getters and setters. Right. And here, let me check Swagger is available in this. Swagger is available. No, Swagger is not available. I will add that Swagger dependencies explicitly. Right. Click on next. Finish. Right, where Swagger details are available and in right here, go to this Maven repository. From Maven repository, I will take those dependencies. Maven repository. Go to Maven repository. Click on this. Click on this. Now here in search box, just search for Spring Fox Swagger. Spring Fox Swagger. Spring Fox Swagger. So now here, see, this one is required. This one is required. This is the UI testing, and for testing purpose, our REST API is working perfectly or not. We can test by using this Swagger UI, and for providing the documentation, we need to use this Swagger 2 and Spring Fox Swagger 2 we need to use for generating the document, and by using this Spring Fox Swagger UI we can test our API is working properly or not. Right, now let me go to this Swagger 2. Let me go to this Swagger 2. Right, here I will take some old versions only, and I'm not going to that new version. Let me take old version 2.6.1 I am taking. Right, old version only I am taking it here. Right, if you want you can take latest version also, not a problem. Right, so now go to pom.xml file. Go to pom.xml file and add that Swagger 2 and add that Swagger 2 dependency. Right, here I am going to add that dependencies also. Swagger 2 dependencies I am adding it here. And one more dependency we need to add for testing, and for testing purpose we need to add one more dependency. Let me take that dependency also. Let me take that dependency also. Swagger UI. Swagger UI also required. Swagger UI also required, and see this one, and I'm going to add this one also for testing purpose. So this one also I'm going to take 2.6.1 version only. Copy this one, go to application and add here only. So these two dependencies I added it here. Right here, what dependencies are there? Starter web is there, DevTools I added, Lombok I added, and Swagger 2 for document generating the documentation, and Swagger UI for testing purpose. Swagger UI for testing purpose. Right. So next, let me create that folder structure, and let me prepare the folder structure. Here I required one. Here I required one REST package, and I required a request binding class and a response binding class and Swagger config file. And for all these things, let me create the packages. See here, com.msit.request I am taking. Request I am taking. Right, inside this request, here I am going to take the name, and here I am going to first let me create the, here let me take the name, and Right here, request name, I'm going to give like, some student info I'm giving, and this is the name of the request binding class. Name of the request binding class created. So now create a response binding class also. Create a response binding class also. Here I'm going to create one more binding class for response, and one more binding class for response. Here I will take response, and here name I am going to take course info I'm taking like this. Course info I'm taking like this, right? So next, after creating this, let me take one rest package also at here. I want to create one rest package. Here let me take rest, and name I'm going to give like course course rest controller. Course rest controller I'm taking like this. I took it here, and like this I took it here. First let me complete the coding up to here. Let me complete the coding part up to here. Right, first go to request file, studentinfo.java. Studentinfo.java, and here I'm going to some properties like private string, private string first name, private string first name, right. So now here last name I am taking, and next one I am taking mail id I am taking. Next one here I am taking contact number I am taking. Contact number I am taking. Next one I am taking course name I am taking. Next one I am taking course start date also I am taking it here. Course start date I'm taking it here. Course start date also I'm taking it here. So now what we need to do, we need to create getters and setters, and right, instead of creating getters and setters explicitly, here I'm going to add lombok, right, at the rate data. At the rate data I'm taking it here. Right, so now let me go to response also. Let me prepare this response binding class also. Here what we need to take, let me copy paste these things and I'll modify. I unnecessarily need to type once again, not required, right? Instead of that, here I'm going to take name, I'm going to take, and here mail id I'm going to take, and here contact number I'm going to take it here, and here course name I'm taking, course start date I'm taking, and finally I'm going to take private string course fee also I'm taking it here. Course fee I'm taking it here, right? So now for generating getters and setters, let me take lombok it here, data. So next, right, response is ready, request also ready, and so now let me go to this controller. Now to represent this class as a REST controller, we need to take one annotation, which is REST controller annotation. Why I am taking this REST controller annotation? To represent this class as a REST controller, I am taking this REST controller annotation. Now, inside this REST controller, I am going to write one method. I am going to implement one method at here, right? So now, public this response entity, this is the predefined class to generate the response and to return the response type, right? This is the predefined class response entity. Now inside this I am going to take course info here, register course I am taking it here. Now inside this at the rate request body, right? So here I am going to take request is student info, right? Student info, yes info I am creating, right? So now inside this I am going to create the object for this course info. First let me create the object for course equal to new course info. Right. So now set the values, set all values at here. Course dot set name. How you will get this name? From the request you will get the name only. Right. The request means what? Yes info dot get first name plus right here I am going to take yes info dot get last name I am taking it here, right? Once you got the name, next set mail id, set remaining things also. Course dot set mail id something, right? Now yes info dot get mail id, course dot set contact number, yes info dot get contact number, right? Next course dot set course start date, yes info dot get course start date. And now course dot set course name, yes info dot get course name, right? Now course dot set course fee, right? Here fee I am going to take 10,000 INR, I am taking like this, right? Now finally I am going to return new response entity, course comma, right? That return code, status code, what we need to return, http status dot http status created, I am taking, right? Simple. And this is the REST controller method. At here, right? So now save this one, Save this one. Right now go to YML file. Go to YML file. Here application.properties file is there. I'm going to convert this one into YML. I'm going to convert this one into YML. Right here, inside pom.xml file, we added required dependencies, and next, right, we prepared one request binding class and we prepared one response binding class. After that, here we created one method inside REST controller. Right now here, let me add that HTTP method right here at the rate post mapping. At the rate post mapping, here I am going to take slash register course. I am taking slash register course. I am going to take it here. Save this one. Right, so now inside this YML file, just I am going to specify the port number. Server port 9091 something. I'm taking it here. Server port 9091. I'm going to take it here. What problem it here? Server. Nine zero nine one I took as the port at here, right? So now just clean the project once. Clean the project once. Clean the project. Right. So now run this application. Run as Spring Boot. Run as Spring Boot. Now you can see it here. See, our application started successfully in port number 9091. Our application started successfully in port number 9091. Now, if you want to test whether this REST API is working properly or not, how we can able to test? If you want to test whether this REST API is working properly or not, how we can able to test? By using Postman we can test it. By using Postman, in that Postman we need to select a post and we need to give the endpoint and we need to provide the request object and everything, right? Instead of doing all those things, we have Swagger UI is there. Swagger is providing Swagger UI. By using that Swagger UI also we can test our API is working properly or not. Right. We added those dependencies but we didn't wrote any configuration logic at here. Swagger configuration logic is required. Just we added dependencies. Because of the dependencies, it won't work. Because of the dependencies, we can't able to test this API and it won't generate the documentation also. For generating the documentation and for testing this API is working properly or not, we need some configuration. Let me write that configuration logic also at here. Let me write the configuration logic also at here. Right now, here I am going to create one more package. Here I am going to create one more package with the name config. Here I am going to create one more package with the name config. Right here I will give the name Swagger config. Swagger config I am giving. Right here inside this Swagger config class, we need, here we required two annotations. Inside this Swagger config class, we need to take two annotations. What annotations we need to take? See here, we need to take two annotations. One is, right, to represent this Java class as a configuration class, we need to take @configuration. Right, to represent this Java class as a configuration class, we need to take this @configuration annotation. And to enable the functionality of the Swagger, to enable the functionality of the Swagger in this class, we need to take enable Swagger 2, enable Swagger 2. These two annotations are required. Right, what is the purpose of configuration? To represent this class, this Java class as a configuration class, we need to take configuration. And the second one is, and another one is enable Swagger. Enable Swagger. What is the use of this? Right here, to enable the functionality of the Swagger means generating the documentation and testing the API. For that some functionality is required. Right, for generating documentation some functionality is required. To enable that functionality in this class, we need to take this annotation at here. To enable that functionality in this class, we need to take this annotation at here. Now let me write the logic inside that. Right here I am going to take one method. I am going to take one method, public course API. Here I am going to take course API. What this course API will return? It will return docket object. It will return docket object. What is this docket object? Docket, and it is the predefined class. It is predefined class in this Spring Fox. Docket is a predefined class in Spring Fox. Docket is a predefined class in Spring Fox. What this docket will do? Docket will implement the documentation plugin interface. And here what it will do? It will implement the documentation plugin interface. Right, by using that documentation plugin, what we can do? Right, see here it will generate the document. And see here inside this, let me complete the remaining part also at here. Inside this method, let me take the remaining part also. Right here, course API return new docket. Right here, documentation type dot Swagger underscore 2 I am taking. Swagger underscore 2 I am taking dot select dot select dot APIs right, which are available in this base package. And here I am going to provide the base package request handle selectors dot base package. And here what I am going to do? Here I am going to provide the base package. And what is the name of the base package? com.msit. com.msit is the base package. Com.msit is the base package. Here I am going to provide that base package. Right. After providing that base package, dot paths. We need to take paths and path selectors. Path selectors dot any path we need to take. Any dot build documentation. Build documentation. This is what we need to take it here. And so this is build documentation. Right here, what this docket is doing, docket will implement the documentation plugin interface. Right, what is the use of that plugin interface? Right, which we will use to generate the documentation for our API. See here APIs I am taking, right, which is generate the documentation for our API. And right here, whatever the base package we are providing, we are specifying the base package, and inside this base package we have multiple REST controllers. For all those REST controllers, it will generate the documentation and it will build the documentation for all the REST controllers which are available in this packages. Right, what docket will do, it will generate the documentation plugin interface. By using that plugin, it will build the documentations for all the REST controllers which are available in this base package. And right, and here let me take this one as Spring bean. Right, what this bean annotation will do, it is used to represent this docket as a Spring Bean. This to represent a docket as a Spring Bean, I am going to take this @bean, and that's it. And nothing is there, and only these 3 lines of the code we need to write it here. And right, we need to take 2 annotations. One is to represent this class as a configuration class, I am taking @configuration, and to represent this class, to enable the Swagger functionality in this class, I am taking this @enable Swagger 2, and to represent this one as a Spring Bean, I am taking this @bean. Docket is a predefined class in Spring Fox. Right, we will use this docket, right, to build the documentation and to prepare the documentation, right, for the APIs. And see here APIs. Right, what docket will do, it will generate the documentation interface plugin. By using that, we can build the documentations for REST controllers which are present in the base package. And right, the REST controllers which are present in this base package, for all those things it will generate the documentation. Right, clear? So now let me run this application once again. Stop this. Now go to here, run as Spring Boot application. Right, started. Now go to browser. Right, here I am going to take http localhost 9091. Here we have one predefined URL. Right, to test our API. And to test our API, we have one predefined URL. I am going to take that. And what is that? Swagger -UI. This is the predefined URL and .html. So the swagger-ui.html is the predefined URL. By using this, we can test our API and whether API is working properly or not. Super. You will get like this. you will get. So like this. And what is the name of the controller class we took it here? What is the name of the controller? Course rest controller. Name of the controller is course rest controller. We took it here. Right, course rest controller. See here, same name we are getting, course rest controller. See here, show and hide option is there. List of operations, whatever the methods are available inside that controller class, all those methods you will get it here. And all the methods list you will get it here. And expand the operation. See here, if you click on this, see inside that we have post method is available, slash register course. And post method is available. And suppose if you add any other methods inside the controller, you will get all those methods also at here. Right, a list of operations. If you click on this expand operation, right, automatically it will be expanded. See here, I'm going to click on that expand operation. See here, you can able to see both sample request and responses at here. See, this is a response class. This is the response class and response type. See, this is the response type which you are going to get. And right, see here, right here what JSON type is there, and by default JSON type is there. If you want, you can take XML also at here. And right here in our binding class, we need to add one annotation and to get the XML format. Right, otherwise here you are getting JSON type. This is the response format. And if you go down here, this is the request. And see, sample request is there. And right, if you go to Postman, you need to provide this request and you need to type this request explicitly. But in Swagger API, we no need to type anything, and by default you will get this request format. See here, see if you click on this, you will get that details at here. Contact number, right, 9898989898 something I'm giving. Course name I'm going to give like Spring Boot, and start date I'm going to give 01 April 2021. And here first name Raju, last name EM I'm going to give, and mail ID, and I'm going to give like mail ID I'm going to give like some abc@gmail.com something I'm giving like this. See, and right here request is ready. Right, if you go down here, we have option like try it out. If you click on this request will be processed and you will get the response. If you click on this try it out, this request will be processed and you will get the response. See, now go down here, this is the response you have gotten. This is the response. Name Raju M, mail ID, contact number, course name, course start date, course fee, everything you are getting it here. This is the response body. Right, response code 201 created, and created 201 we are getting it here. Clear? Right, which one is easy? And Swagger is very easy than Postman. And right here response, right, how you will get the response? It is showing in response you will get contact number, course fee, course name, course start date, mail ID, name, everything you will get it. Right, and here you will see, you can able to see the request also, request format, JSON formatted, contact number and everything. And now if you click on this, automatically you will get the copy at here. There you need to provide the values, and just you need to provide the values. See here, content type JSON and JSON. Right, so now here we have the option try it out. If you click on that, this request will be processed, and here you will get the response like this. And you will get the response like this. What is the URL which we are using? Swagger-ui.html. This is the predefined URL. By using this URL, we can test our Swagger API. We can test our Swagger. So REST API, and we can test our REST API by using this swagger-ui.html. And where is the document? And I want to see the document. Actually, the main purpose of Swagger we are using to generate the document, right? Where is the document? For that, we have one more predefined URL. we have one more predefined URL. And what is that? HTTP localhost, HTTP localhost 9091 right here. See it, this is also predefined URL v2/v2/ API hyphen docs. API hyphen docs. This is the predefined URL for generating the documentation. This is the predefined URL for generating the document. Now click on this. See, this is the documentation. Complete details about the REST API. If you have this REST API, now you can start the development of client and REST client. And right, if you want to develop REST client, these details are required. So what these details? And these details are REST API details. How these details you are getting? Through Swagger. Right, REST API is providing these details through Swagger. Let me copy these things. Copy. Now go to STS. Right here, I'm going to create one file. See, right click, new, here file I am creating. Which file? Data.json file I am creating. Right, so now paste that content. Now format this one, Control Shift F, C, and you will get in the form of JSON. These are the details. So these are the details. And 1 minute. So these are the details and details of the REST API. How REST API is providing these details? Through Swagger. And is it clear? Now go to here. Now, if you want to develop this REST client, compulsory, you should know the details of this REST API. Then only you can start the development of this REST client. Right? Who will provide those details? And the REST API developer. Who developed this REST API? That person is responsible to provide the details of this REST API. And how that person will provide the details? And by using Swagger. That person will provide the details of this REST API. Clear? Now clear why we are going to use this Swagger? And right, to develop REST client, compulsory we should require the details of the REST API. Right, that REST API details, right, will provide by using Swagger. We will use to provide the details of the REST API. Right, in the case of SOAP based services, to provide the this service details and to provide application one details, right, it is using WSDL file. And through WSDL it is providing the details of this provider. And then only you can able to start the development of the application to can send the request. Right, here observe very carefully. If you want to start the development of REST client, compulsory you should know the details of the REST API. Who is responsible to provide those details? Right, REST API developer is responsible. How that REST API developer will provide the details? By using Swagger. Right, once you got the details of this REST API, happily you can start the development of REST client. Clear? I hope Swagger is clear. Thank you guys. Please subscribe our YouTube channel and like. If you guys have any doubts, please comment in the comment section. Right, if you guys are expecting any topics also related to Spring Boot and microservices, please put a comment. I will do the video on that. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.